Well, Coach, you're off to the best start in the Big East era there. Could you tell me some of the keys and some of the things that have happened that have allowed for this fast start?
I think one of the biggest things is, I just give all credit to the staff that Coach Tasha put together. I think our staff is tremendous. Just people that want to help and want to help this program grow. So it starts with that. It starts, and then it goes to our players who've done a tremendous job of buying into what we're trying to do and who we want to be. And then on the floor, man, we just work and we work as much as we can, as hard as we can, and at the end of the day, the Georgetown effect usually happens, right? And the Georgetown effect is we just going to try to wear you down.
And you talked about Tasha. How was the transition from going from Tasha's voice to your voice? You know, just not only for yourself but also for the team.
I think they were really everybody was receptive to it, and I knew it was going to be time where Coach Tasha needed help because she was the first time head coach, right? And I had some experience at being a head coach, so I was here to help her, and I didn't know that this was going to be the way that I was going to have to help her, right? But at the same time, I think Coach Tasha did a great job of giving everybody a voice when she was here, and then when it came time for us to kind of transition and all that, we just kept everybody in the loop. We kept the girls in the loop. They knew what was going on, and we just asked them to just trust us and go from there.
And on court and the success you've had so far, how big is it to have experienced players like Kelsey and Grace Ann?
Oh man, it's tremendous. It's tremendous to have not just experienced players, the experience of them as people, right? Them being older, them understanding and going through the things that they've gone through over the course of their lives. Them being older, they kind of understood it. It was tough and it's been hard. It was hard for them, but they transitioned tremendously. And everybody has a role. And Kelsey is the engine, and Grace is the anchor, right? So I think them, owning those roles and being those roles, I think has helped us tremendously.
And as a coach, for your vision, all coaches have a vision of kind of where you are in stages of the season. For your vision, are you pretty much on track of where you thought this team would be at this point in the season?
I mean, I didn't know like some of the teams that we were playing, and I was doing a lot of like watching film of the teams that we were going to play in the non-conference and teams in conference, how we're going to play, and I kind of try to figure out how we had to play in order for us to be successful. And in practice, they had been showing that. They had been showing that they just getting better every day, and how we were going to have to win was going to have to be a little different from some of the teams in the league, right? And I'm okay with that because I think different helps you win, right? And I think different brings you a niche that the girls can the young women can kind of take hold to, right? And being different kind of helps you get an identity. And take that identity and you run with it.
And what do you think that identity and that different is that makes you different from other teams in the conference?
I mean, just who we are, man. We start everything what we do on the defensive end. I mean, you got some teams that just want to shoot all 100 threes, right? You got some teams that want to be high octane offensively. Right now we can't be that. I mean, right? We're not going to be that. We're going to be high octane defensively. Right? We want to make it a nightmare for you defensively, and then we're going to use our athleticism, we're going to use our talent, and we're going to use everything else to do the things that we want to do. We're going to start with defensively, then we're going to rebound the basketball, which is what we can do. We're going to run, right? We're going to share the ball, right? And we're going to do it together, and we're going to do it as a group. And then right now, shooting, because we're going to let it fly.
How would you describe yourself and what your identity is as a coach?
I'm from Miami, Florida, man. I tell the girls all the time, I'm just so blessed. I'm not supposed to be here. So I'm just gonna put my head to the ground. I'm gonna roll my sleeves up, man, and I'm gonna get to work every day. If it takes me to be up 3 o'clock in the morning watching film or preparing, if it takes me to be here with a young lady, working on her shooting, working on whatever. I'm just going hard nose. We're going to get work done. I'm a worker, man, and I feel like the good work you do, you're going to have good to follow. I feel like, you got to put the 10,000 hours in. So,
yeah, no, I totally understand that. So when you look at going forward and you've established this identity, where do you think the ceiling is for this group?
My old boss has a mantra, is no ceilings, right? Georgetown, this university is amazing. I think this community is amazing. There's a pro in the grassroots area. There's a pro on every roundabout, right? You can go to any school in the DMV and you can find a college player. I just went to a tournament yesterday. An event yesterday that was at Sidwell, and it's a Division I player everywhere, right? I don't have to go too far to find a kid, right? They want to come here and they want to be a Georgetown Hoya and do it the Georgetown way. We welcome them. We're going to welcome them with open arms, and I'm telling you that now, right? So we want to make sure that we kind of own the DMV, and we want to make sure that people want to be Hoyas, right? Mm-hmm. And the talent that's here is tremendous enough to help us go. Do some amazing things with this program.
What is the strength of the university that you can present to recruits that may be local? Because like you said, there's a lot of talent here, but maybe they're looking to go to college somewhere else outside of the DMV. How do you present Georgetown to say you don't have to leave your backyard to be in a quality program?
I think Georgetown is different. Like, we're different, right? And I think we have to sell the difference. And the biggest thing as far as difference is, it's not, Georgetown is big time as far as a brand and a name, but Georgetown is still that family atmosphere, that place where you can come where your professor knows you, where your professor's sitting at the game and they're cheering you on, right? Like, they actually know you. It's not I want to say corporate,
yeah,
right? It's not as corporate as you're gonna get a family feel. You're gonna get people that really want to see you win and want to see you win in life and not just in basketball.
What is something that people don't know about being in that first chair as a head coach that probably people outside of coaching don't understand?
The number one thing that I realized after being a high school coach, being an assistant, and going into being a head coach is in college basketball, the head coach position requires 20% coaching basketball, right? And it's 80% of everything else, right? And you want to get into doing all the X's and O's, and you think it's about that, but it's not about that. You got to be a CEO, right? You got to be a CEO, and you got to make sure you're managing staff. You got to make sure you're managing the players. You got to make sure you're managing emotions. You got to make sure you're managing the health of the players. You got to make sure you're managing the mental health of the players. You got to make sure you're managing your own mental health, your own health. Yeah. So it's just, you got so many things that you have to do that's minute, where basketball becomes a minute piece of the grand scheme of things, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the best coaches understand that, and they do a good job of when it's basketball time in that 20%, you have to make sure that you're fully locked in, right, in whatever it is that you're doing. And then at the end of the day, especially in women's basketball, man, at the end of the day, I think you feel good, you play good. Yeah. You play good, good things happen.
How much, you mentioned that you had coached in high school and now you're coaching college. Mm-hmm. How much unsolicited advice have you gotten outside the basketball world in your coaching career, from everything from parents on?
Oh man, the advice you get is unsolicited, right? But the advice you get, you take it with a grain of salt, man. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I've heard everything, right? And everybody when they're watching TV or when they sit on the couch, they can tell you what it is, but you don't know what that young woman just had to go through in class, right? You don't know what she has going on at home. You don't know what your coaching staff got going on outside of that play, that game.
Yeah.
Right? I do, right? And these coaches do. So just being, getting the experiences that I've had, I mean, from the high school level to the college level, I think has helped me tremendously, right? It helped me kind of navigate this situation that I'm in. I think God puts you in situations to help you learn, right? And to teach you and prepare you, right? And I'm telling you, I've been prepared for this more than I think a lot of people would know.
Thank you, Coach.